Wild America. That was the name of a show I used to love watching when I was growing up back in the 80s. And the show, it was a narration of wildlife in different habitats. And the narrator of the show would always talk about the survival of the fittest between predator and prey. Now I'm gonna tell you, a similar struggle was existing outside of my doorstep in the concrete jungle of Bronx, New York. It was a crack epidemic where predator, drug dealers, and gang members were preying upon crack addicts and innocent bystanders. Now, I had to walk through all of that as a child raised in a single-parent household. Wasn't raised by my father who didn't show me how to navigate the rough patches of that neighborhood. So I had to look and I had to observe how to survive. I knew what happened to the prey. They got jumped, they got stabbed, they got robbed, they got mishandled. I didn't want that to happen to me. And so if you ever heard the saying of a wolf in sheep's clothing, I became a sheep in wolf's clothing for the sake of survival. So I mimicked the predators. Whether it's the ice grill, you walk around on the block looking like who want it, ready to knock somebody out of their shoes, run up on somebody just so that the predators won't prey upon me. And what happened was I ended up trauma bonding. What I discovered is the greater the anger, the greater your hurt. And when hurt people hang out with other hurt people, they tend to hurt other people from that pain point. As a result of that, I lost 5 of my good friends. 3 got stabbed up and 2 got shot. And whoever I didn't lose to the grave, I lost them to the prison system. So I grieved for a good click of my life. I took the same behavior, this mentality of survival of the fittest, and I took it to school. It didn't work. I ended up getting expelled from one school, got left back, got sent to the second worst high school in the Bronx, did a bunch of fighting, got left back again. And it wasn't until the school resource officer said to me, "Hey, young man, you got all this anger. Why don't you go play football or something and put that energy to good use?" I said, "You know what, man, you might have a good idea. I'm gonna try it out." So I got eligible, did what I needed to do, and got on the football field, made up some years and got on the football field. And little did I know I was gonna get a scholarship. Became an all-city running back, broke a rushing record, and I was offered a partial scholarship from the Harvard of the South, Livingstone College. That's how I ended up down here. When I arrived at Livingstone, I met a gentleman, an African-American chief of police who was one of my professors. And I admired him. He became my role model. And I said, you know what? I could do what he does. You see, in my neighborhood, you couldn't find a cop when you needed one. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm gonna be that cop that was available whenever anybody needed him. I became the bully's bully. I became the apex predator of the predators, if you will. That was the mentality I had when I joined the law enforcement. Fast forward, around year 7 of my 8-year career, I started suffering from suicidal ideation and homicidal ideation. I didn't know what it was called at the time. I just knew I didn't want to be here anymore. And what I discovered was that sheep in wolf's clothing, that ego, that facade, started to weigh on me. No matter what I did, no matter how many accomplishments I had, I was a rookie police officer of the year. I had all these accolades, but I still wasn't happy. And I did not want to be here anymore. Now, I remember leaving the station one day, and I went home. And I said, you know what, it'd be so easy if I just offed myself. I sat on the corner of my bed, unholstered my duty weapon, and I looked at it. I said, it'd be so easy. All I gotta do is just point it up and pull the trigger, and I ain't gotta worry about none of this no more. And then right in that moment, as I was looking at my 45, a picture. It was a picture of my son, my firstborn. This was the same picture I had on my dashboard, the same picture I had on my laptop, my screensaver. It was the reason I had to go home the same way I went into work. And the reason this picture saved my life was because I made a promise to my son that I would not abandon him or leave him the way my dad left me. And that night, my resilience was born. I said I'm gonna outlast my pain. Little did I know the subsequent year, I was gonna be terminated or lose my job from excessive force complaints, 4 lawsuits to be exact, and 2 indictments for using excessive force while under the color of law. My career was over that quick, and I had to rebound. So what I did was some soul searching. Little did I know, counseling was my calling. I became a licensed clinical mental health counselor. I went back to school, got my degrees, became now Dr. Puranda in the building. Huh? You feel me? And all of it was a byproduct of the process that I believe God was taking me through to understand how to help other police officers who are suffering in silence and not knowing how to ask for help. There was so much I didn't know about me because I ran from me for the longest because I felt like me wasn't acceptable. And that was the weight I carried. And so today, I stand before you as an author, a serial entrepreneur, a mentor, a motivator, a father, a husband, all these things that I never witnessed in my life. And what I can tell you is that you can turn your pain into purpose. You can turn your trauma into treasure. It's not about how we start, it's how we finish. I'm Dr. Kareem Puranda, and this is my Brave. Thank you.